So today's topic is going to revolve around 1950s proof sets. I'm going to tell you the top 3 reasons why these are selling like wildfire today. Okay, as a matter of fact, these have been going up in value in the last 2 years, and it's crazy because I just unloaded about 10 sets in varying dates, and they're commanding about 25 to 30% more than what I had sold these particular dates for about 2 years ago. And the top 3 reasons why you need to jump on what I consider to be probably one of the hottest numismatic bandwagons today is that, if you're going to find something to collect, okay, and then possibly flip in the future, 1950s proof sets are definitely one of the premier, I guess, avenues to go through for doing that sort of thing. Okay, so for the first part, okay, this is first of all a 1958 proof set. As you can tell, this is not in a original government holder. For the basis of this video, it really doesn't matter, okay, how the coins are packaged. You get a marginal premium in their original packaging, okay, and the reason why that is the original plastics and materials made to house these coins are horrible. They promote various types of ugly toning and some spots all over the coins. So to see it in something other than that, okay, is a pleasant surprise, okay, but it's not going to hurt the value if you find one in a aftermarket holder like this, or if you find one in an original government packaging. So the biggest reason I would say in all of this, I'm going to start with the biggest and then work my way down, is that collectors and graders are running to the 1950s proof sets specifically to cherry pick. Okay, they're cherry picking a few things, and for whatever reason, they're beginning to invest more in these coins for that very reason, and that's why I've seen the price hike. The coins are selling about 20% over bid. On a retail level, okay, they're selling for about almost 30% above and beyond. Okay, so what exactly are collectors and flippers looking for within these sets? Okay, that's a great question. Varieties, number one. In the mid 50s coins, okay, there are a number of double dies. Okay, in 1954, 53, I believe, is another hot date for double dies and re-engravements and the nickel and all that stuff. Okay, they're looking for those to pull out of the set and then subsequently send in for authentication with the double die diagnostic right on the plastic. And they would take these coins and then flip them for about 5 to 10 times the value of the set that they had paid for. Okay, so that's one piece of the cherry picking pie. No pun intended, but another thing they look for is cameo coins. Now, so if I flip this quarter like so, you'll notice that that Washington's profile has kind of like a frosty device on there, and it's slight. It's not a cameo. It's not a decam, but for this video, you could see that you see more of the reflective surface of the fields than you would the devices of the coin, the actual design work. So they're also looking for those decam and cameo coins. Those, when graded appropriately, sell for over $10,000 in some instances. Okay, grade and designation plays a huge part in the grading game. Whether you agree with it or not, okay, that's what people are doing, and then they're making lots and lots of money off of these 1950s proof sets because of that. Okay, they're starting to get away from like the earlier proof sets 40s, 30s, that sort of thing, because those things are like prohibitively rare, number one. Number two, they're priced way outside of like normal like collecting range. That the 1950s is the next hottest decade trend. Okay, so here's another good part about 1950s proof sets is it is the first complete decade in which they've produced proof sets from 1950 all the way up to 1959, which is cool. Okay, there's a breadth of various different dates that you could go for. And the 1950s is what I consider to be the pendulum decade out of every decade of proof coins from the 50s all the way up till now. Okay, and what I mean by pendulum is you have some extremely low mintage proof sets that are represented in the 1950s. And let me give you kind of a general idea. This right here, by the way, is a 1954. So 1950, there were, let's see here, 51,386 proof sets produced. 51, you were at 57,000. 52, 82,000. 53, okay, it starts to go up a little bit, 128,000. The 54 that you see here is 233,000. 55, okay, is 378,000. 56, 670,000, or just under that. Okay, it goes over 1 million when you hit 57. So it's 1,000,002, and it drops back down to 875,058 and 1.15 million for 59. So the big pendulum swing where it hits the bottom is 1955. Okay, that's where the sets become kind of pricey. Okay, those sets sell generally in the $100 to $110 range. The 54 that you see here is not too much above that. You're looking at about $1.25, 125, 130 for a 54, regardless if it's in the original government holder or not. Okay, so another reason to collect these and to invest in them is the low mintages. Of course, if you're on the bottom side of the curve where you're collecting the 1950 to 1955, that's where the real value is going to come into play. But the sets like this 58, from 56 to 59, those are creeping over $30 now, which is insane, because I couldn't even sell these for like 18, 20 bucks 2 years ago. So the prices have gone up incrementally because of the extra added benefit of collectors and graders and flippers buying these to cherry pick cameo coins, toners, varieties, that sort of thing. So if you have a cache of these, or if you know someone that has a nice group of various 1950s proof sets, okay, you definitely need to let that person know that these are a hot commodity today. So that's another big important factor in all this. So the last reason, okay, why you should even attempt to even collect 50s, okay, is the price value. Again, it's a pendulum shift decade. All right, you have your really expensive sets in the early 50s, like for example, a 1950 proof set sells for upwards of $600 to $700 at auction raw. Okay, the coins will not be graded; they will be in some sort of holder. But those first few years of the 1950s, 50, 51, 52, okay, they sell for many hundreds of dollars. I could see that going up to close to 1,000 within the next maybe 3-4 years. And I hate to say it, but these things are going to appreciate in value. And once they do, collectors are going to be kind of, on the outside looking in, if that's a pretty good analogy for all this. And then you're going to be forced to collect into the 1960s, which, by the way, it's getting tough because people are hoarding those with the prospect of finding deep cameo coins. So the 1950s, if you're able to get on to at least the back end of it from 1956 all the way up to the end of the decade, that's where your real value is going to be. Okay, and those are coins that subsequently, like, take a look at this quarter. Okay, you see the toning on the edge? And I think that's more of a byproduct of this holder right here than it is a product of it toning in the original government packaging, because of the film that they use to enclose these coins doesn't really promote the kind of toning that you see here, which is right on the rim and colorful. So if I flip it like this, you can see the colors of blue, red. It's very nebulous. It's really cool. But 1950s proof sets, they're a fantastic gateway into coin collecting for a number of reasons. You have your high dollar stuff, you have your lower dollar stuff. You meet in the middle, and then you have your kind of like medium material like that 54, the 55, which is a neat date all on its own. And the popularity and the demand for these coins are going to go up drastically here in the next half decade or so. And as these things dwindle, you know, the opportunity will be lost. I'm afraid to say. But the good news is there are a lot of 1950s proof sets still to be found. Okay, there's a lot of them that have been collected and just held back in collections or inheritances, and you know, you name it. They're out there for the taking. And you know, maybe someone, you know, shoots out a advertisement to buy these things, and sometimes that's how you get the ball rolling. Okay, but definitely keep your eye out on 1950s proof sets. I see these catching even more fire, and you know, you want to make sure you know, participate in any which way you can. They're really neat collectible, if anything. But anyways, I appreciate your guys' time. If you guys enjoy the content, you know, please give me a like. Help me out with the metrics. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for all the support. Again, my name is Blue Ridge Silverhound. You know, you probably got a snippet of my reflection on those cases, by the way. So it's really a first good look of what I look like. Yeah, I'm no George Clooney. I'll tell you that. But anyways, you guys have a wonderful day. Okay, I'll catch you on the next coin episode, and we'll see you at the spot. All right, take care, guys.